This is a review of the documentary film Life and Debt, written by Jamaica Kincaid and directed by Stephanie Black. It examines the economic and social situation in Jamaica and specifically the impact of the IMF and the World Bank's globalization policies. The film opens with the arrival of vacationers to the island and quickly moves to inform viewers of the island's colonial past into its present day economic challenges. As we look at the vacationers in the hotel, the narrator states, "When you sit down to eat your delicious meal, it's better that you don't know that most of what you're eating came off a ship from Miami. There is a world of something in this, but I can't go into it right now." As we begin to view the post colonial scenery, the film cuts to footage of former Prime Minister Michael Manley in a post independence speech condemning the IMF, stating that the Jamaican government will not accept anybody anywhere in the world telling us what to do in our own country. Above all, we are not for sale. According to Michael Manley, he was made to sign Jamaica's first loan agreement with the IMF due to lack of feasible alternatives. At present, Jamaica owes over $4.5 billion to the IMF, yet the meaningful development that these loans have promised is not evident with the island's current situation. To improve balance of payment, devaluation, high interest rates, and wage guidelines are recommended. The IMF assumes that keeping the price of labor down will be an incentive for increasing employment and production. Increased unemployment, sweeping corruption, increased violence, high food costs, broken down hospitals characterize only part of the present day economic crisis in Jamaica. In a segment addressing free trade zones, we saw workers who sue for American corporations earning only $30 per week, which is a meager 1,200 Jamaican dollars. The workers state that they are paid in Jamaican dollars as opposed to US dollars, which the country needs. These factories bring shiploads of materials into the country tax-free, and tax-free means that the country is not receiving much needed funds. The Jamaican government, in order to ensure employment is offered, has agreed to the condition that no unionization is permitted in free trade zones. Yet now, due to NAFTA, these dismal yet precious jobs are being lost to other developing countries at even lower labor costs. These corporations seem to be bouncing from one country to the next, that is, those willing to work at a slave's wage. Where is the protection when you are placed between a rock and a hard place? Another segment tells the story of a chicken plant which had been flourishing in Jamaica. The business had been weakened by US dumping of low-grade chicken parts to Jamaica. Why aren't these foreign companies selling their products to their own markets? Agreements such as NAFTA function to enforce this inequality under the excuse of free trade. The chicken, which was very old and intended for Haiti, another island going through financial crisis, was said to be extremely old upon inspection. The Rastafarian men sitting around the fire give an account about certain foods which were meant for slave consumption during colonial rule. The chicken backs was said to be food to slaves. There was also a segment on the banana industry where Jamaica had been granted preferential treatment from the British government through the Lomé Convention, providing tax-free imports per year to England. The US government demanded that the Lomé Convention quota be removed, forcing Jamaica to compete with exporters from Central and South America, specifically Chiquita and Dole, which are US companies who produce bananas on a large scale. Central America is characterized as being cheaper labor, regardless of quality and means of production. Life and Debt aims to clarify the impact that these economic policies have on day-to-day lives of the people they are said to benefit. The breakdown of the democratic process becomes clear as the Jamaican people are removed from participation in the decisions that truly affect their lives. The IMF promotes an agenda of monetary strictness, currency devaluation, and lowering wages. The goal to reduce inflation by balancing a nation's loan repayment and imports with its export earnings. The result is usually recession. The World Bank takes a longer run perspective. It aims to structure adjustments, which means that they're trying to transform a borrower's nation economy into a free market economy. These policies are supposed to benefit third world economies by integrating them into the global market. What actually happens is that third world people suffer. The term globalization is touched with rosy one world optimism whose name vaguely implies unity, equality, and freedom. But as Stephanie Black's powerful documentary Life and Death illustrates, with an impressive and depressing perception, globalization can have a devastating impact on third world countries. Soul-touching songs by famous Jamaican artists are heard throughout the film, such as One Love by Bob Marley, Circumstances, and Destiny by Buju Banton, and Fools Die by Peter Tosh. Jamaica's dire condition may have been the foreground for this artist's creation. In ending, I leave you with one of my favorite songs, Destiny by Buju Banton.
The rich man's wealth is in the city. Yeah. Destruction of the poor is his poverty. Lord, destruction of your soul is vanity. Yeah, yeah. Do you hear? I wanna rule my destiny. Yeah, I wanna rule my destiny. Whoa, whoa, destiny. Mama, look from where you call me. Destiny, mama, look from where you calling. I wanna rule my destiny. Yeah, yeah. Oh, help I please. Jaja, make me rule my destiny. Oh, Lord, I've been blessed, I've been touched. I love Jah so much, they keep fighting me. I'm not giving up. May rains of Zion fill my spiritual cup. Wisdom overstanding must never be too much. Give I protection day and night from even the pestilence that walk at that daylight. Destiny, mama, look from where you're calling. Destiny, mama, look from where you're calling. I wanna rule my destiny. Yeah, oh, if I please, Jaja, make me rule my destiny. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Cast away their cosmos, Lord. You have them in the region, in the valley of decision, restraining the Edens with a rod of iron. You know not the destiny of a next man, why hold him? Set him free for too long. I wanna rule my destiny. Oh yeah, I really wanna rule my destiny. Here we call, call, call. Destiny, mama, look from when you calling. Destiny, mama, look from when you calling. I wanna rule my destiny. Oh, hey, if I please, I wanna rule my destiny. Where could I found? My destination is homeward bound. No forces try hold I down. Breaking chains has become the norm. I know I must get through, no matter what I want. Destiny, mama, look from where you calling. Destiny, mama, look from where you calling. I wanna rule my destiny, Lord. And I tell you once more, the rich man's wealth is in the city. Oh, destruction of the poor is our poverty. Yeah, destruction of her soul is vanity. Oh,